welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my last Tis the Damn Readathon vlog. If you are not subscribed already, then make sure that you click the subscribe button and click the bell button to get notifications every time I upload a video. You can also follow my Instagram and my Goodreads and all that stuff. The books that I plan to read, so first of all, I need to complete the prompt for Reputation, and I need to complete a prompt for Folklore and Evermore, and then I am done. So the prompt for Reputation that I have decided to go with was to read a book that isn't necessarily in the genre romance but has a romance subplot or plotline, and for that it's a long story. Essentially, I've done a bit of shifting around on my TBR. I'm going with Cress. Originally I was going to go with Scarlet, I believe, and then I ended up changing that for a different prompt, and then it was supposed to be The Hunger Games, and now I've just scrapped The Hunger Games because I'm gonna try and read it for the FOLKLORE. If you haven't seen the vlog, I will link it down below. And now I'm going to go with Cress. Cress was originally supposed to be the book to complete the prompt for Folklore. Originally, the prompt I was going with was to read a book that's a retelling or is based on folklore. Now I'm switching the prompt and I'm going to go with the prompt which is to read a book written by two authors, because I'm currently in the process of reading What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera, that's his name, and that's obviously written by two authors. So therefore I'm going to go with that book instead. And what else was I going to do? And then for Evermore, I decided to go with the prompt to read a mystery or a thriller. The book that I'm going with for that prompt is The Minders by John Miles. I'm really looking forward to this. This is a new release, and this is also for the book troupe, which is Gabby Reed's book club. So therefore I'm really excited to read this. I've read two other books by John Miles, enjoyed both of them very, very much, so I'm thinking that I'm going to enjoy this as well. I think I'm going to start, either I'm going to start Cress or I'm going to continue reading What If It's Us. I've been really enjoying it so far. I haven't read that much, I've only been introduced to the main characters, but I'm just really looking forward to this week of reading, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will check in with you later. Good morning everyone, it's currently Wednesday, so I didn't update you yesterday. I wasn't feeling that great, but now I'm feeling a lot better. However, I did manage to get some reading done. I'm about 200 pages into it, both into Cress and into What If It's Us. So I'm about halfway through with What If It's Us, and I think there's about 500 pages in Cress, so I'm not too far off being halfway done with that. I'm hoping to start The Minders soon. I saw Gabby post about it, so I'm just really excited to start that, but I'm sort of waiting just a little bit so that I can get further with the two books that I'm currently reading. And I'm just about to upload my last vlog, which was the second vlog for the Tis the Damn Readathon, so I'm about to upload that so that it's ready for today. I'm actually checking in on the same day as the last time that I did a little clip for this vlog, which is very good but also very different to what I usually do, so I'm happy. I feel like I'm on the right track. However, I haven't actually done that much reading. Essentially, I've just been doing work for uni, and then I'm like, well, whenever I take a break I will read, but instead of reading I sit and watch YouTube, just because I'm not very good at doing what I tell myself that I'm gonna do. To be fair, I'm not stressing myself out about it because I've already read a lot of books this month. I don't need to worry about how many books I'm reading, but obviously I do want to read more so that I can update the vlog. I'm gonna finish this clip now because my arm hurts. I'm gonna sit down, I've just made myself coffee, I'm gonna sit down and try and get through Cress a bit more, and I'll update you later. I'm not feeling particularly gripped by either of the two books that I'm reading at the moment, so I think I'm gonna go and start. I'm not gonna go anywhere, I'm gonna stay here. No, I think I'm gonna start The Minders because I feel like I need a thriller right now. I haven't read that many thrillers recently. I definitely need to pick some up, and I'm hoping that once my local library opens up again that I can go and get loads of thrillers there. Because I sort of feel like thrillers can be so hit or miss that they're almost like the book that I least want to buy myself, but I really like reading them. So yeah, I think I'm gonna start this and see how far I can get. If it's anything like the other two John Marrs books that I've read in the past, then I'm definitely gonna get through it really quickly, which is gonna make me feel really productive. Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday today, and I'm trying to think what I wanted to say. Yesterday I managed to read, I think, about half of the Minders, which I'm really happy with because I think I started at like 5. So I feel like I'm probably going to be finished with it today. I'm not quite sure whether I want to like spread it out a bit so that I don't read it straight away, because while I do like reading thrillers really fast, at the same time sometimes I like to just read it slowly, let everything sink in, enjoy the process. I'm really enjoying this book. I think it's super good. I think it's just as good as his other 2 that I've read so far. And right now it's like, what's the time? Like 8:30 or something in the morning. I do need to get some revision work done. And then, ooh, what else have I got to do? I've got some like house / apartment stuff I need to do. I need to like just tidy up a bit, take the bins out, all that fun stuff that you have to do when you live alone. And then obviously I want to get some more reading done. Right, I'm hoping this angle is alright and that the light's alright and everything. I wanted to give you a little update, but I didn't want to sit on the floor, and I also didn't want to hold the camera. So I apologise for the mess. I'm just a messy person, so I tend to have things all over the place. I realised that I did not update, no, that's not what I was going to say. I realised that I never told you what the Minders is really about, and I feel like personally if I was watching a vlog like this, I would want to know roughly what it's about, because it's like a newish release, so it's like I don't think a lot of people have spoken about it so far. This book. As I said before, I'm about halfway through. I think I'm just over, no I'm not. I think I'm actually just about halfway through. And I'm really enjoying it so far. I think I mentioned that before. It's going really quick. I had completely forgotten, because the last time I read a John Marrs book was in October, I think, last year. So I read The One and The Passengers, which are they both have similar themes to the Minders, in the sense that they're sort of like sci-fi thrillers. They're very Black Mirror-esque, especially because they are mostly set in the UK, which is one of the things I really love about his writing, is the fact that one, it's set in the UK, but also it has that Black Mirror vibe. I really enjoy Black Mirror, and I love the idea of mixing scientific, or like mixing sci-fi concepts into like the near future, which is one thing that I've noticed particularly about this book. I didn't think so much about it when I was reading The One and Passengers, but I think it's like I've really thought about it with this one, is the fact that this isn't like the setting of this book isn't super far in the future. I don't know if it says anywhere, because it's still in the 21st century, and I've worked out there's a character who is about 33, I think, and she is talking about the film Love Actually, and someone mentions to her, or they're talking about it, and she said, oh, I can't believe I've never watched this before, and someone else says, oh, well, you would have been like very young when Love Actually came out, and I think it came out in like the early 2000s. I was very young when it came out, basically. So essentially, when this story takes place, I would probably be around the same age as this woman. So I'm guessing that this is set in the 2030s, which is like not really that far away, but it's also weird to think that it's like It's still like a decade in the future, and I would still be like a fully fledged adult when this takes place. It's just weird. So this book centres around 5 people called the Minders. We are introduced to 5 different people, but we're only explicitly introduced to 4 minors. So minors? No, not minors. We're introduced to 5 different people. We are only explicitly introduced to 4 Minders, and then the last person, we're not sure what's going on with her. It's sort of like a mystery, like her whole storyline is just a mystery. And they've all got different stories, and some of the stories kind of blur into his other books, particularly the one in Passengers, which I know that Gabby put on her Instagram story that there was like spoilers at the beginning of this for the one in the Passengers, which there are. So if you have not read the one or the Passengers, I would not recommend reading this yet. If you plan on reading the one or the Passengers, if you don't care about spoilers, or if you're not planning on reading either of those 2 books, then, you know, go ahead, knock yourself out. But if you're someone that does not like to know spoilers about other books, then I would not read this yet. I would wait until I've read the one in the Passengers. I also think just in general my reading experience of this has been a lot better because of the fact that I've already read the one and the Passengers, and because of the fact that it is once again very Black Mirror-esque, because I do think that there's like Black Mirror episodes that sort of blur into each other and like have different characters that sort of cross over. I think, from what I can remember, it's been a long time since I've watched it. So we've got one storyline that is very heavily influenced by, or not influenced, but like very heavily, like has heavy ties to the one, and then we've got another storyline that also has quite a big tie to the Passengers, and just in general everything is like referenced to. So I can tell that John Mars is now building up this world where all of the different books that he's written that like have this futuristic or like near future sci-fi theme, they're all going to be sort of set within the same world, which I really appreciate, and I'm really looking forward to more stuff. I think that he should just like, I've never read any of his normal thrillers, I don't know how good they are. I want to read some of his other work, but quite honestly, having read the one and the Passengers and now starting this, feel like he should just drop every other genre ever, and he should only write sci-fi thrillers because they are so good. This is like exactly what I need in my life. It's so good. Also feel like because of the fact, this is another thing that he does really well, he has so many different storylines. This one is like, there's only 5 storylines, which is a lot, but it's actually less than he usually does, which like it can be hard to keep up with, but he does this like in a really good way that he mixes them up, so he doesn't just like, you know, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He sort of mixes it up so that you can't expect to get to a storyline after reading 4 more chapters. Like, it doesn't, that's not how it works. It's sort of all mixed up, which is really good. Obviously it keeps you like having to read it if there's a storyline that's like left you particularly intrigued about something, then you have to keep on reading until you get back to the storyline, and it's just a really clever way of writing it. I think the concept is very interesting. I do have one like slight thing, or like, I don't, listen, I study medicine, I've only just started, so I don't actually know that much, but I've always been interested in the human body. Genetics is not my favourite, however, I do know a little bit about genetics, and the concept of the way that they create these minders is very far-fetched. I think it seems like something that would be possible in a very long time, not quite in the near future. It seems slightly too far-fetched for me personally. However, I can get past that because I know that this is not real. This is a book. This is fictional. So therefore he can say what he wants about science. I do feel like there's certain things that like I personally haven't experienced, so I cannot like say how good the representation is, but there's representation for different things. There is a child with autism, non-verbal autism, which once again I cannot say how good that representation is, but I was very happy to read that there was that representation. There's also like slight talk of like gaslighting and just like, you know, toxic relationships. There's like someone who's like slightly depressed but gets out of it really quickly, so I don't know how great that is. But there's just a whole bunch of things, like he usually does, because there's so many different timelines. He's obviously got so many different things because every single person is different and has their own issues, and they feel like real everyday people, and I don't have that much of a grip on their physical appearance, so I can't say so much about diversity in this book, but I do remember thinking that the one and the passengers had a good level of diversity, of being like representative for the general public. I think they just in general, you know, feels quite realistic in that sense. I haven't even properly told you what it's about. Oh my god, I sat down to tell you what it's about and now I'm just rambling. Basically, this book is essentially set at a point in time where there's been so many struggles to keep certain secrets, particularly like political and military information, and sort of keep them secret without people being able to hack into different systems. Obviously nowadays we sort of keep it on the internet, but the problem is there's cyber terrorism, and obviously with cyber terrorism people can hack into the internet and find information that they should not be allowed to get their hands on, and that becomes a big problem. So the concept that this book sort of runs with is they've tried so many times like different things to try and protect this information that someone actually comes up with this idea of, well, what if we can store it in the human genome? If we can sort of code it into DNA. So what they've done is they've taken all this information, they've changed it to like a binary code, I think it was, and then they would then somehow get the binary code into DNA, which would then be injected into someone's brain. I don't quite know where that sort of like whole logic is coming from. I don't think it's all that logical. However, I can look past it. Like we can deal with it. It's such an interesting concept. I think, you know, cyber terrorism is, although we live in a world where there is still a lot of like physical terrorism going on, cyber terrorism is something that we need to be so careful of, because it can literally affect anyone and it can happen so easily. It can happen with like no suspicion whatsoever. So it is a really interesting concept and a really relevant concept to bring up in a book. I think that this kind of genre, crossover genre, is perfect for this kind of topic. I'm just intrigued. You know, we've got the main overarching plot of these minders, and then we've also got all the little plot lines from each character. It's really fun. I'm gonna go and read some more of this. I'm hoping to get quite a bit done. I'm gonna check out and see if anyone's got any reading sprints on tonight, because I just absolutely love reading sprints. I love me a good reading sprint. Yeah. We're gonna read. I have not read anything else of the other two books that I was reading. I know that, what's it called? I know What If It's Us needs to be returned soon on Libby, so I need to read that. But the Minders is so interesting, so I think I'm gonna keep on reading that. Something I've just like really come to realise within the last couple of chapters, which I don't know why I didn't pick up on it as well, but I've only just sort of properly thought about, is how well John Mars writes like human connections and motivations. Like a lot of his characters are very morally grey and do bad things, or do things that like affect other people negatively for their own personal gain, but they have like such natural motivations, and a lot of it comes out of like human connections, like family connections, or just to people that they love. And it feels like that side of the things feels so, like, I wouldn't say realistic, because I think there's definitely an exaggeration in the things that some of his characters do. There's definitely an exaggeration in some of the things that his characters do. However, the the reason behind the things that they do is so realistic and so, like, it just feels real and it feels really tangible and understandable. And I think that's why I enjoy some of his work so much. Good afternoon, it's Friday. I haven't done any updates for today yet because I haven't really read that much, but yesterday I did finish the Minders. I was following along with some reading sprints. I think I managed to get this done within the first couple of reading sprints. I only had like a handful of pages left anyway, so that was very good. It's also a very quick read. I don't think I have that much to add because I feel like I was kind of like halfway when I did my little, like my long discussion about this book and what I was thinking about it, and it kind of, like, I think it kept its pacing and it kept its intrigue solidly throughout the whole book. It didn't feel like it dipped at any point. This I've now deemed my favourite John Marrs book so far. It's not my favourite concept, but for some reason I just feel like the execution, I don't know, I don't know. I really need to reread The One and The Passengers because I don't know. The thing is, I really loved the concept of The One because I feel like it's, I don't know. I mean, but The Passengers was so good as well. I don't know. To be fair, no one's asking me, so it doesn't matter. I finished it. I really want to get my hands on The One and The Passengers because I borrowed them from the library, so I don't actually own a copy of them, so I really want to get them so that I can reread them at some time in the near future. I really hope that John Marrs comes out with more of these sci-fi thriller books because they're just so good. I love it so much. If you are a fan of stuff like Black Mirror, it's just, they just remind me so much. Like, I could just imagine Charlie Brooker, who is the creator of Black Mirror, I could just imagine him doing something like making a series out of these books. I know that The One has been adapted into a Netflix series. I need to watch it. I need to watch that TV series for The One. I don't think it's going to be as good as it could be, but we'll find out when I watch it. I'm sort of bad when I read thrillers that I don't know if it's bad. I just don't really think all that much about sort of what the, you know, big twist could be. When it comes to like most reveals and stuff, I don't work it out beforehand because I don't really try. So like, I wouldn't say that there was anything in this that I found super like obvious as far as like the big reveals went. I'm also not someone that gets super shocked by reveals. Like, there is very rarely a time where I'm like, oh my god. I think I did have like a moment in this, I just can't even remember what it was for. There was something here that I was like, oh okay, I definitely did not see that coming, but it was also realistic, like within the plot of this book. That's all I have to say on this. I think I gave it 5 stars. It's so good and I would highly recommend it. If you have read The One and The Passengers, do not read this before you read those two. If you have read both of them, then I would definitely recommend picking this up, and also just the fact that it sort of weaves into the stories that he's already created, and he's like obviously just sort of broadening this world, and I'm excited to see what else he does in the future. And then I have not read any more of What If It's Us, but I have read some more of Cress. What I have read so far of this, I can't remember where I was last time I updated you, but what I have read, this is definitely validating, is that the word? Yeah? This is definitely validating the assumption that I had that it was my favourite. I couldn't quite remember, but I just had a feeling that Cress was my favourite, and I can tell you why it's my favourite, at least of the first 3. And the reason is because I just love Cress and Thorn as characters, and Cress just reminds me a lot of Tangled. I think that the characters in this, Cress and Thorn, remind me so much of the way that Rapunzel and Flynn Rider are entangled, and I think that's why I love it. Basically, Cress reminds me a lot of Rapunzel in her sort of like awkwardness and clumsiness, kind of. I feel like Rapunzel gives off very clumsy vibes, and Cress does as well. And also Thorn really reminds me of Flynn Rider in the sort of like over zealousness, like the cockiness that he has. and also in the fact that he is a fugitive, and Flynn Rider is also a fugitive, but also just the dynamics between Cress and Thorn reminds me a lot of the dynamics between Rapunzel and Flynn Rider. It's just very like wholesome reading, and the setting of this book as well is probably one of my favourites. I can't really say much about it because it gives away sort of what's happened in the first two books, but I really enjoy the setting. I don't know what's happening with the rest of this vlog. Essentially, today's Friday, and at 1 AM for me tomorrow morning, Becca's Bookathon's going to start, and I'm taking part in that, and I will be vlogging it, but as like a separate vlog. So therefore, I'm just not sure what's happening with this vlog. I'm thinking, depending on what the prompts are, if I can get Cress and What If It's Us into Bookathon, then I will probably do that just in order to get them finished, because I kind of just want to finish them, and then I'll probably come back to this vlog and just give a quick summary. I'm going to leave this vlog here for now. I will come back probably on Monday and just talk about what's happened, but there will be like an actual vlog for Bookathon, so you should go and check that out. It will be up by the time this vlog is up. Hello everyone, it's Monday the 22nd, I believe, the 22nd of March. I'm just going to leave this vlog here. I was thinking that I was going to vlog the next couple of days, but I'm going back home on Wednesday. I just need to use these like couple of days to get everything ready and get myself sorted out, as well as doing some uni work. So I honestly don't think I'm going to get much reading done within the next couple of days, so I just think it'd be a bit pointless to vlog it. Obviously there's been a gap between Friday and today, which is Monday. As I said before, I was like halfway through with Cress and halfway through with What If It's Us, and I didn't finish What If It's Us. I've still got about 200 pages left of that. However, yesterday during this 48-hour readathon, I did manage to finish Cress. Really enjoyed it, gave it 4 stars. As I was saying before, I think it's my favourite in the series. I really enjoy the character of Cress, and I enjoy Thorn as a character. I think that just in general all of the characters did a lot more in this book and were sort of all contributing to the story and to the plot line, which I really enjoyed, and the setting was also something that I really enjoyed about this book. And I also really like the way it sets up, everything for the final book in the series. So I'm going to be reading that probably next month because I'm kind of busy the next couple of weeks. And I really don't have much else to say. I just wanted to keep this short and sweet. If you're coming to the end of this vlog and you want to watch more and you haven't seen my vlog for Becca's Bookathon, then I will leave that link down in the description box. I had so much fun doing this, doing the readathon, so I would definitely recommend that you go and check it out. I think personally it's my best vlog so far. I hope you go and check that out, and I hope you enjoyed this vlog, and I will see you in my next video.